Welcome back to a developing story in the United States now. And FBI officers have been carrying out searches at the home and office of Donald Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton. Some reaction now from Harry Kazianis, president and editor-in-chief of the National Security Journal. Great to get you on the programme this evening. So as far as you know, what is the actual accusation here?
Well, Jonathan, it looks like the accusation is classic. It lost intelligence materials. That's one thing that's being floated around, at least according to multiple sources and different reports. There are other reports, though, too, Jonathan, that the allegation is that Jonathan Bolton was leaking materials. Again, I want to be very cautious on even saying something like that because, we don't know what the evidence is, and it would be unfair to try the man out in public. But I mean, those very, very severe allegations. I think we do have to keep in mind, though, that many different U.S. officials throughout the years, as we've seen, like Mike Pence, Joe Biden himself, Donald Trump, have all been accused of accidentally misplacing classified materials. But it is very interesting that the Donald Trump administration is going after Bolton in this way. And I'll be honest with you, Jonathan, if they had the goods on John Bolton, why isn't he in handcuffs right now? So I think we've got a lot of questions out there and unfortunately, not a lot of answers. But I think in the coming days, we'll get those. So your concern is that it could be politically motivated? Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's going to be that allegation, to be honest with you. But we have to keep in mind in the American justice system, the Trump administration, the FBI would have to go to a judge. They would have to present very strong and very credible evidence that John Bolton did something wrong, that he did something intentionally wrong. I think that's important to underscore, and that they were able to get that search warrant and execute it. So there is something in the air. There seems to be, at least on the surface, that John Bolton may have done something wrong here. But what I find it very interesting is there's been a lot of situations throughout the years where, there's allegations of classified materials that have been misplaced by staff of very senior principals in government organizations. And a lot of times it's handled very discreetly. If in the case of Mike Pence, for example, Mike Pence did a deep dive of his own documents after it was discovered that Joe Biden and Donald Trump had classified materials. He went to the DOJ, to his credit, and gave those materials back, apologized, and he was let go. I mean, I'm sure it cost him several $100,000 in legal fees, but the point remains. So my gut tells me that there is something going on here. We're not going to really know in the next few days. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for it to be sorted out, but the game's afoot, as they say. Yeah, but he has been in hot water before, hasn't he? When that book came out, that explosive book about the first term of President Trump, a judge did say that he didn't go through the correct procedures of having the book cleared up by security officials. And I think it's more than that too, Jonathan. The allegation has always been, when it came to John Bolton's 2020 book, was that he was writing it literally as he was doing the job of National Security Advisor. Keep in mind, the book only came out, it was less than a year after he'd actually resigned. And to write, a multiple 100-page book with countless sources, to go through the editing process of publication with a major publisher, that's something that takes a lot of time as somebody who's in the publishing industry himself. So there's a lot of anger within the Trump administration, not just because of the differences of opinion between Donald Trump and John Bolton, but I think a lot of people in MAGA land, so to speak, feel that John Bolton was either setting up Donald Trump to make mistakes, giving him bad advice, or trying to sort of pull him back in that neoconservative direction. So I'm not surprised these spats have sort of happened over the years, and now they're really spilling out into the open more than we've ever seen. Yeah, and Harry, just very briefly, President Trump has spoken today about this. He says that John Bolton is not a smart guy. He could be very unpatriotic, and saying also that he knew nothing about these raids until this morning. What do you make of those comments? I think he did. I think for something like this, that the president has to sign off on that raid. I would just hope that the president looked at the evidence, made an objective call that this is something that could warrant prosecution. But again, find it very interesting that John Bolton is not in handcuffs right now. That at least smells to me that they don't have the goods on him just yet. Maybe they think that they're in that home, whether on a laptop, a hard drive, or at his offices. But again, next few days can be very interesting to see where this leads.
Yeah, well, we're monitoring both his home and office as we speak. Harry J. Kazianis, President and Editor-in-Chief of the National Security Journal. Great to get your thoughts. Thanks very much.
Thank you.